So
Yeah, again, it's one of those UI bugs where Trap and Crank are in a lobby, they aren't in game, but in chat it says they're in game, which is a lie, and that's what gets people scared.
I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling.
There it is.
Oh, click, go.
Oh my god, it's happened before. A lot of anxiety There's a lot of anxiety, amongst the casters in general during these cups, where players just start matches without casters, and it's like, oh god, like please.
I don't think we have to worry about that in the finals. Still,
I would hope not.
At the very least,
I would hope not.
I would hope not. It could happen. You never know.
It could happen. It happened last week in the semis, you know? Like, it's not unheard of.
That it is not.
Mate, we're here. We're in the lobby. We're loading into game.
It's gonna go down. And speaking of go down, here we have it in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Zen LE. You gotta be calm for the specified finals. We have the red Protoss all the way in Korea. He is having the energy of both of his teammates, Creator as well as SOS. He is in his first finals of an ESL Open Cup Asia. It is Trap, representing Generic Green Wings.
And in the top right-hand corner of Zen LE, we have the Zerg player who just 2-0'd Zest. He is up against another Protoss player. He is representing Korea as well as Team Chivo. It is RagnaroK. Hey.
Mate.
What is happening right now?
Was there a probe block? I don't remember seeing one.
There was a probe, as the probe is now in the main of RagnaroK, so he was forced to go here to the third base as his natural. Again, not too big of a deal, but it could lead to some issues later if Trap goes for a push and he pushes at that third base location. You know, it can be harder to reinforce and defend. Either way, it is annoying.
If there's not a group connection, that is pretty accurate.
Yeah. Like, regardless, it does hurt the economy as well. It takes longer for drones from the main to go all the way to the natural to, you know, to saturate and stuff. So it does add up a little bit. So, you know, nice little win there from Trap. Meanwhile, we have, interestingly,
sort of nodding along.
Yeah, 6 lanes coming out from RagnaroK. Okay.
That Ling Team 6 going to be starting to put on a little bit of pressure on his Protoss opponent. It's something that you definitely have to do. As you were mentioning, the taking a natural at the third base location is hard to defend. So if you can't reinforce that point quickly, send in the Lings. Make sure that that your opponent is back on their side of the map.
Yep, and there RagnaroK does see the Adept coming out, and we have our first piece of tech coming down as well from Trap as well. We have that Twilight Council.
And it's going to be Shade. It's going to be Glaives. It's going to be Glaives Adepts in it. I know you. I know you with Protoss.
There it is. There it is.
Yes, them orange Tic Tacs coming in hot.
Glaives. Oof. And especially because that natural was placed at the third base location, it's going to be so much more annoying to try and, like, defend against Glaives going back and forth in between bases. It's going to be it's going to be quite annoying.
The question you have to ask is, where is the creep?
Exactly. You know, we do have Queens on the way. We have Spores as well, actually. Interestingly enough, and we do have we do finally have a Roach Warren on the way for RagnaroK. You know, which will do which will do nicely against Adepts. It does come down to whether he can get them out in time.
That is going to be accurate. RagnaroK does scout this, and he does see that the Twilight Council is researching something.
Yeah.
He should have a pretty good idea of what's coming up his way, which is why he did cancel Spore in favor of the Spine Crawler.
I love it. Yeah. Spines do help. They help so much against Adept Harass. Just having that static D and having it there, forcing the auto attacks to attack the Spine as well instead of drones helps so much.
It does help, but will it help when you're up against DTs without detection?
Nope.
I was hoping we could have a bit of a dialogue, a bit of a back and forth, but nope.
Yeah.
Seems we are in agreement.
Yeah, it will depend on RagnaroK getting that lair and getting an Overseer. But here we do have the Adepts, and they do get surrounded.
Oh, a lot of them do get surrounded. Yeah, they do. They do measure Shade out, but I don't think most of them are going to survive. In fact, a lot of them actually going to be going down like so. In fact, all of them even. That Shade did not complete, as they did see that there were more forces, particularly these queens, waiting for him.
Yeah, nicely done by RagnaroK. He was 100% ready for that Adept Harass, and he just surrounded it and dealt with it with just pure Lings. He wasn't able to deal any economic damage, but here we have the second wave, and again, RagnaroK should be okay. He has a good amount of Lings. What's worrying though is the follow-up. DTs have already been warped in, and they are on the way.
Well, the lair has been completed. There's the Overseers.
Oh, it's on the other side of the map there.
One at home.
Beautiful.
One at home and one on the other side of the map. He does know that the DTs are here, and he's trying to body block as best as he can. But now the DTs are starting to split up, and there's only one source of detection. Evacuates the third. That's the right call, if I do say so myself.
Does deal with one
now
DT,
RagnaroK's
but
just looking to pick them off one at a time.
Yeah, seven workers
drones have already gone down though. 9 even 10. That's definitely not what you want to happen when you are the Zerg player. If you just look at the worker supply. That being said, RagnaroK is recovering fairly quickly.
Yeah, this is good damage from Trap, not exactly game-ending damage. So we will see how he follows up and how RagnaroK deals with this. Again, 11 workers, not ideal, and these things
are out.
Yeah, they get shaved off. He does spot where the reinforcement location is, so he can try and deal with that later, but now the Archons are out, and they're going to be picking off some Overlords.
Just not a lot of anti here to deal with the Warp Prism. There are a decent number of Roaches, and those definitely do very well versus Archons.
But Adepts are going into the third, though, at the same time.
That they are, and it's just this one Spine Crawler, and actually there's enough, I do think. He'll lose a couple of drones if Trap micros, but that's about the best defense you can hope for in that sort of situation.
Where the Roaches are
in though, and it drove. Yeah, this completely drove RagnaroK's his Roaches off position.
Oh god!
Now they're starting to get in.
Jesus, that last shot.
Not even gonna bother fighting them.
That last shot killed 6 workers at once. It went from 6 to 12 dead. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
and the Archons are still going in the natural.
Yeah, Trap is just continuing his strategy of kill by 1,000 slashes.
Exactly. I was going to reference that where, we saw a similar thing with Creator where he just kept losing workers. Meanwhile, we do have...
RagnaroK, is that enough?
Yeah, he's pushing out across the map, which I do like. Unfortunately, these Archons are just going unhindered. Oh, the recall is done. Trap knows that he needs everything at home to defend against this.
He absolutely does. RagnaroK, for all this economic damage, still has the much better army. He's got the much better army supply. He's about to get +1 range, and with the Biles ready, and with the surround on the Roaches, very good force fields though, and there's enough energy to keep pumping them out.
Oh, the shield batteries are running out of energy though.
The shield batteries are actually out of energy, and there's still a heck of a lot of Roaches here. There are a couple of Immortals, and they are starting to help out a ton. But they are also starting to get targeted down. The Biles going down everywhere are going to be able to take out the sentries.
Yeah,
and
the Archons go down. It's just the Immortals. It's just the Immortals and nothing else, really.
Yeah, they're starting to get targeted.
Never mind.
There is still the Warp Prism, though, and Trap is juggling like a clown. I suppose I shouldn't say that, but juggling like that one occupation, which is professional juggler, let's say.
And RagnaroK, he's reinforcing with Lings. He's so close to breaking Trap, but oh my god, the warp-ins.
Not quite happening. GG is called. and Trap lives up to his reputation as one of the absolutely most clutch defensive Protoss players to ever touch StarCraft 2.
Yeah, that was so close. For the longest time, it was just those two immortals that were being juggled with that Warp Prism, and he was able to buy enough time to warp in more Zealots and to reinforce, and he was just able to push RagnaroK back, and GG was called. There was just too much economic damage done on the other side of the map. There is a lobby.
Okay, we're good.
We're good.
You don't have to worry too much. In fact, Crank actually was the first to join, so they couldn't even get this show on the road quite yet. RagnaroK is calling to play,
God, these
not
guys...
even realizing he's not in the player spot.
God damn it. Oh my god. I love if a bunch of these lobbies were started when they said go, we would have had so many casters play against pros this time. Like...
Look, you know what? It's like trial by combat, as they say. You get to select somebody to stand in your place.
Exactly. I don't know who would want Yaku or Renegade or Crank to stand in their place when we're talking about these players.
You know,
but...
Crank, he's the coach.
True.
He actually did coach True a little bit back in the day.
He did.
Not officially. You know what? I mean, speaking of coaches, I believe he also coaches Chivo. So, you know, RagnaroK, he would learn a thing or two. But the Korean players at Chivo anyway, as he used to do for Su. Actually, I think now RagnaroK is the only Korean player.
He is.
But that is not the point that we are trying to make right now, because this man right here, he gets coached by the absolute legend that is Ryu. We have the red Protoss in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE. He is all the way in Korea, representing the Jin Green Wings. He has the power of those teammates that he defeated previously behind him. We've got Trap.
And in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Korean Zerg representing Chivo StarCraft. Chivo StarCraft? Team Chivo. It is RagnaroK.
I think Chivo SC is actually acceptable.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they did go by Chivo SC for a while. At least they're no, they only have a StarCraft division. Yeah, they did go for Chivo SC for a little bit, but now I think they're just Chivo Gaming or Chivo Esports or just Team Chivo.
I mean, they do have.
I think it is Team Chivo.
They do have other esports divisions now. I do believe they have a Rocket League team. So yeah, they have since expanded and do not just cover StarCraft.
Yep. So Team Chivo, I think, is the official one, but if we're talking specifically for the StarCraft players, I think Chivo SC is acceptable as an alternative.
Perhaps.
I'm pretty excited for this match in particular, like, because as somebody has pointed out, this is probably one of the shortest rush distances that we've had in a long time. Quite possibly the shortest rush distance in Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, and despite that, you know, RagnaroK, he was able to get his natural up where he wanted it this time, as opposed to game number 1, where Trap forced him into a bit of an awkward position. And already we have a deviation from Trap. By now, he would be having a Twilight Council on the way instead.
I believe. Okay, then, yeah. He got it out way early. I thought,
but the Diavolo, though, it's flying in
or a bit of a blink
from the right-hand side.
I'm glad that you pointed out right-hand side.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And it will be able to, see everything.
It does see the Dark Shrine.
And
this time, RagnaroK should be more than ready to defend against this, as if he's able to deflect the DTs, he will still have to worry about the Archons though, but if he's able to deflect that, then he's not going to be all in. Instead, he's going to go for a fairly strong 3-base push.
Yeah. So in response to what RagnaroK scouted, he is getting a much earlier Roach Warren. You know, he's going to be skipping out on Lings, and he will have Roaches out in time to defend against the Archon or the DTs. It just kind of comes down to RagnaroK's own like micro and his attention, because even though he had what he needed to defend, in game number 1, Trap was able to deal damage anyway with his Adepts, with his Archons. When here we have the
there are no spores yet.
Yeah, there are no spores yet. The lair
That's actually
did
very
finish.
surprising to me. There's no detection. Okay, there's the Overseer. Okay, it's fine.
Calm down, buddy. Calm down.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
RagnaroK, he was getting ready, and he does have the detection needed to defend against these DTs, and we should see them being morphed into Archons pretty shortly. I imagine we'll see one more warped in, and then... Yep,
there we go. I was kind of imagining what happens if you morph 3 DTs to get a Super Archon. But it doesn't seem to be the case just yet.
Yep. And he does pick them up and gets ready to deal some damage with them. And he also has those 2 Adepts as well, so he's looking to do some multi-prong. And it's going to be on RagnaroK to split up his army accordingly to defend. And, I like how he's... he's targeting the Warp Prism with those Queens as well.
Yeah, and also trying to target fire and, if possible, one-shot the Archons as they come down. These Adepts are going to be a little bit of a distraction, and if Trap is able to capitalize on this, it could be very worrisome for RagnaroK, but he is only now turning around. These Queens are in a bit of a vulnerable position, but they are in range to start shelling away at that Warp Prism. The Roaches providing enough of a deterrence for Trap.
Yeah, so far so good. Only 3 workers go down to the 2 Adepts. The Archons don't manage to find any damage, so much better from RagnaroK. And we do have that follow-up tech. We have that Spire on the way. Right.
2-base Muta.
Not quite, but close enough, We have a Muta switch on the way.
That's what I do like to see.
Yeah, and I believe it hasn't been spotted quite yet by Trap. His Warp Prism hasn't been able to sneak in that deep to scout the Spire. Neither has the Hallucinations. But we do have a couple of Adepts here in the natural for RagnaroK, trying to get some damage done.
Yeah, being able to micro a little bit, gets a couple of workers, as well as just putting on a little bit of pressure on RagnaroK. Does not want to let RagnaroK comfortably get his Mutas out, but...
Again,
he does have his Mutas.
And he doesn't know. He has no idea. Like, I don't think he's seen it.
But look at what's being researched right now. So I think Trap should be in a fairly comfortable position. I'm not sure if he sort of thought, you know what could really bamboozle me? He does see it now. And since Blink is already on the way, we should be seeing there's the Archons coming out. And we should be seeing a couple of Stalkers coming in as well. RagnaroK came in looking for a bit of damage, but not really finding it.
Yeah, he gets a couple of workers, and he could get a couple more.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the Archons are here, but they're not in position.
No, they're not, but they were about to be. Man, oh man, this is got to be painful for RagnaroK. This is exactly that Simpsons gif.
I mean, he still did manage to get a couple worker kills. He's forcing the Archons to stay on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, he's macroing up. He's not making any more Mutas. He's kind of just using this small force to defend and to gain map control. Meanwhile, he's transitioning into Roach Ravager as he is getting that +1 range upgrade.
Not a lot of units here to defend for Trap, and so almost call it Creator. RagnaroK is able to pick off a couple more units, and
this is actually really
keep
good.
Doing this, and more importantly, keep his Mutalisk alive while doing it. This could actually really start to snowball.
Yeah, he can turn into the Trap. Like death by 1,000 cuts. Keeps going in, gets 3-4 worker kills, back out. That's all you need, right? Oh, he gets a sentry. Nice pick off there,
and doesn't even lose too many. Doesn't even lose too many Mutalisks to do so. Meanwhile, over at RagnaroK's main, he is starting to bleed out a couple of drones, but it's not gonna be enough. RagnaroK, as we said, last game it was kind of forced into an all-in at this point, but this time it's more of a strong 2-base, 3-base push.
The army's out of position. Trap is halfway across the map. He's not here.
He is. They're about to turn around.
And he wasted his recall on the DT.
He did. Oh, this is just gonna be insanely well for our blue Zerg player.
Oh, the ground force though,
what
it's
would have been
pretty
a flank
good.
does not turn out to be enough. Ground force is looking pretty good, but the Mutas were able to chase down and very badly bruise that Warp Prism.
Yeah, it's almost down.
Didn't actually manage to kill it though. And I don't think there's any reliable anti-air here for RagnaroK just yet. Trap is trying to defend, and as we have said in the past, he is definitely known for that, but it looks like RagnaroK has just enough to break him right now.
Yeah, like even though he's juggling really well with that Warp Prism, even though he managed to keep the Warp Prism alive, it looks like RagnaroK with these reinforcements, oof, just
I gotta
rain
shout
down.
out these vials from RagnaroK. Look at just how almost random he's throwing them, but they do manage to cover an area so that at least something gets
The Warp Prism, it's gonna go down. The Mutas are focusing it down. They should be able to get it.
Focus it down. Just not want to lose the Immortal when it's in there.
It goes down.
Left, and it's not going to be enough. The Warp Prism is down, and there's only one Immortal. GG is called. And RagnaroK is going to be able to tie this series sideways 1-1. Just 2 more games if he wins, and he will be the next champion. Or on the flip side, if Trap wins 2 more games, then he'll be the champion.
Yeah, we've got a series on our hand. 1-1. From both of these players, and RagnaroK, you know, just able to harass and do what he needed to do with those Mutas, you know, even use them towards the end, trying to focus down the Warp Prism or, you know, distract Trap, right? And yeah, Trap, he was kind of caught off guard. We saw that his army was already halfway across the map when RagnaroK was pushing into his natural.
That is basically what, yeah, that was basically what I was gonna say. It did kind of look for a moment that Trap could potentially flank the entire army of RagnaroK, but that old concept of defeat in detail, before Trap was able to come in with his second prong, his first prong was already fried by the entirety of RagnaroK's army.
Yeah, that indeed. Well played by RagnaroK. It was a really, really nice push.
Yeah, it shows how adaptable he really can be.
For sure.
Well, I say adaptable, but the philosophy, right, was still the same. The game plan was still the same. It's just how he achieved it was quite a bit different.
Yeah. I mean, you could also argue that it also kind of came down to his scouting. You know, last game he was able to scout the DTs far before they hit, as opposed to game number 1 where he was kind of blindsided by them. Yeah.
What? Speaking of the blind side, this is what happens when you fall into the... No, I can't use his name quite yet. In the top left-hand corner map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Belladon LE, we have the Red Protoss representing Jin Green Wings, as well as his fallen teammates all the way in Korea. We have Tarp. Trap.
And in the bottom right hand corner of Nightshade LE, we have his opponent, the Korean Zerg, representing Chivo. It is RagnaroK. Also, for those of you wondering why RagnaroK's intro actually has his team on it, as well as his team name, and it looks all nice, that's because he's not a barcode.
Yeah, so we could actually fill in the information on the casting tool.
Yes,
so when it's a barcode.
Yeah, where you can't, because it's a goddamn barcode. Anyway, we got a proxy here.
Very strict. Yeah, we do have a proxy hatch coming in right here, and it actually looks like it's messing up. It could potentially mess up Trap's wall. No, it actually does not. That's actually, yeah, that wall looks a little big, if you're asking me.
I feel like RagnaroK, he's only doing this just to delay the natural. I imagine he, like, you know, he has another hatchery going down.
All these times where Trap has delayed.
Well, I mean, he did it again. Trap delayed his natural with that probe, forcing RagnaroK to get the third at his natural. Yeah.
Except this time, RagnaroK says, you know what? Take that. Leave that probe there.
Yeah, so they're just delaying each other because, again, RagnaroK is forced to take the third at his natural, which isn't as comfortable as you would like. But
it's kind of expensive though for a delay. But it is kind of forcing out units from Trap. I'm not sure if it's entirely what you want to do in ZvP compared to a PvZ where you force out
almost gets the
units rather than
worker.
drones. Oh, it does almost get the worker. That's quite a bit annoying. There is still a bit of creep here, and it could be a little bit annoying for a while.
Yeah, and now those eggs are going to delay it even more.
Yeah, they are. I'm still not convinced that this is a full wall, to be honest.
Well, there's room there for a unit to walk by.
Even with a unit is the thing. But it looks like Trap's not too worried about this for the time being. He is just going to go in with his units. He knows that there really can't be too much coming after him after that proxy hatch.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just gonna go into the Stargate, which does get scouted. If
there were any drones at the natural of RagnaroK, then they would be vulnerable, but, you know, he hadn't droned up quite yet. He had Lings in his main ready, so, you know, the Adepts don't really find much, if any, damage available to them. Ooh, just have to be careful. And Ling speed does finish up, so RagnaroK should be oh god, this is actually, this is a little bit scary. Yeah. So we've got 4 Adepts, 2 Zealots.
This is arguably easier to surround with Lings, but at the same time, it's a little bit rough.
Yeah, they just deal so much damage to Lings, and he's forcing out more and more Lings.
It's so tanky as well.
Yeah, that they are.
So even if they get surrounded, in fact, you want to get the Zealots surrounded rather than the Adepts. I like that RagnaroK is going immediately into safety spores. He doesn't quite know what Trap has in store for him, but he knows that he went DTs 2 games in a row. No, wait, no, he got the spores because he saw the Stargate.
That he did.
I'm just gonna be quiet for a while.
That he did. So, you know, he does have the defense ready for the Stargate. He had, nice drone pulls there, trying his best, but there's no queen, so it doesn't quite stop the Oracle from diving in, getting 3 worker kills. Meanwhile, though, there are Lings outside of the natural of Trap, trying to see if there's a way in, but the wall is a wall.
Thanks to this pylon, yep.
Yeah. And, we actually have more Oracles. We have a 3rd Oracle in production, as 2 are already out on the map. That's quite a commitment.
That's what I call the stats ball build.
Yeah, and I think we did see a similar opener earlier today come out from Ranger, you know, against Sort of. He did go for 2 Oracles where he didn't really manage to do any damage with them, but, you know, in the hands of Trap, like, he's gotten quite a few worker kills. Oh, it does manage to escape. Nicely done.
Fair. Yeah. Was very nicely done. The 3rd Oracle is also going to be coming in to see what it can get done as well. Will be chased away by the Queen, but it does get a little bit of scout out. And the important thing to note is all 3 Oracles are alive. Yeah. And that's a lot of utility.
Yeah, we do have Overlords getting taken out now by the Phoenixes, as he is, you know, still utilizing that Stargate, which is pretty nice to see. RagnaroK maybe overcommitting a little bit, maybe misreading the situation, getting a couple more extra spores to defend against these Oracles, as the Oracles do try to dive into the natural, but do get warded off.
Yeah, but they're not really the end game for Trap here, as we do see his transition is about underway. We'll be getting a bunch of these Immortals, a couple more gateways, as well as some sentries. It's just going to be using the Immortals to aid in his eventual Soul Train push rather than for even more economic damage. Speaking of economic damage, actually, I thought it was RagnaroK getting a couple of probes, but it is actually Trap getting a couple of drones here with his Adepts, and he's even going to supplement them with these Oracles. He could lose one if he's not careful, though.
Yeah, Trap just keeps getting more and more probed drone damage. Like, already RagnaroK is down to 43 workers. He's lost so many this game already. And Trap keeps all 3 of his Oracles alive. This is starting to look really, really bad for RagnaroK. Like, he just keeps losing workers over and over again, and it's hurting him. It's hurting this push as well. To be fair, though,
it's potentially giving us a bit of a repeat from game number 1. However, RagnaroK this time is not allowing Trap to amass an army or a good position to defend. He does see the stasis wards, and he immediately battles one of them down. I don't think he saw the other one, though.
Yeah, has to be careful.
Oh,
Does
but he
bait it.
sends one link forward, and he does not get baited just yet. Trap is making the absolute best use that he can off these force fields, but now RagnaroK is all in.
That's a lot of queens.
That is a lot of queens, and if he can snipe the Warp Prism, then RagnaroK will be able to break Trap. If he doesn't, though, then it's a completely different story.
That's true, and the biles rain down, and Trap's Trap so far has saved all of his immortals, even though they have such low health, and he's holding on. But the
transfuse is pretty real right now.
Yeah, and the queens, they're marching across, and when they finally take part in this, I think RagnaroK could win this. Insane that there another immortal does pop out.
I think it's going to be entirely dependent again on whether or not the Warp Prism gets taken out. However, a lot of production has been taken out for Trap. These queens are starting to make an opening here. They are all firing and they have a lot of energy. Look at these transfuses, keeping every single one of these Ravagers alive. That is the absolute key unit that RagnaroK needs.
Yeah, but RagnaroK, he doesn't have that much. Like, he needs his Ling reinforcements to get here now. 3-4 immortals already from Trap.
Zoning with the biles are pretty good. I'm not sure if this is the right call to be focusing on the third base with his Lings.
I'm not too sure either. These Lings, they need to be here to support the queens.
Now, yeah, at this point, Warp Prism is still alive, and there are 4 immortals out here, and there's not enough army. I think even 2 queens got taken out, and you don't want to be losing your queens. You can even lose Ravagers, but you cannot lose the queens.
Yeah, and it looks like RagnaroK, while pushing into the natural, he made the decision, okay, I'm not going to end this game. I'm going to just kill the third and get ahead, and try and like segue out of this, which I think may be a little bit of a mistake. All the oracles do get picked off.
The oracle off guard.
Yeah, I think if he had committed completely, he could have ended the game, but it was a risk. Like, it wasn't 100%. It would have relied on Trap's micro and RagnaroK focus firing, and it was a little bit too risky, a little bit too up in the air. So in the end, RagnaroK decided to pull back and try and transition into a macro game.
At the very least, he did trade decently well. He took out the third. He is going to be up 1 base now for the rest of this game, and even getting his missing tech. He got his Baneling Nest a little while ago to just have a more complete army. Round 2 is gonna hit, and when round 2 hits, I don't feel optimistic for Trap, I've got to say.
You say that, but I'm really worried about RagnaroK, because even though he killed the third, he only killed 1 immortal. Like, Trap saved so many of those immortals, and they have so much value coming into the later stages of this game. Like, keeping them alive and using them in the next big fight is critical to Trap winning this game.
That it is, but I will argue that it could come down a bit to army composition. And right now, the Immortals, especially if Trap keeps these Archons alive, it's very heavily in favor of Trap, I would say. But time will tell if RagnaroK gets even more Lings, if he gets a bunch of Banelings that can just crash into the army, if not kill the army, then at least soften them up quite a bit. I think we're gonna see our blue Zerg player be up 2-1 in the specified finals.
Yeah, we could see that. Meanwhile, we do have Trap trying to harass as best he can with these Archons, try and, shave off as many units as he can, keep RagnaroK on the other side of the map. I love that he's getting these stasis wards as well as shield batteries at the third, so Trap is getting ready defensively. If a big fight happened, ideally he'd want to take it there, but instead he's moving out, which is very bold. Never mind, he's pulling back. All right, I was gonna be like, whoa, buddy, like, now is not the time to push out.
Speaking of pushing out, here comes the RagnaroK.
Here he comes. He did break down those rocks earlier just to reinforce easier and angle this. But again, like, there's a lot here. There's more shield batteries going down, cannons as well.
A fantastic position for Trap. The force shields do go down. A little bit of a wasted.
There's so many Banelings there.
But the Banelings, they are starting to crash in. Trap cannot save every single one of these Immortals, and the Warp Prism is still alive. The Bile gets a bunch of these Archons as they continue to morph, or while they're morphing, and now just look at that dip in army supply.
This
looks like the beginning of the end here. Like,
he's done it.
GG is called, and RagnaroK is up. He is on match point here.
Mate.
RagnaroK just broke the defensive Protoss player, and it's not, he didn't break him immediately. He crippled him, and then he came back to finish the job.
Yeah,
which I think when you're playing against a defensive player like Trap is what you do want to be doing instead of going for an all-in or whatnot.
The old 1-2 punch, you know. In that first big attack, there was the possibility for Trap to hold, and RagnaroK saw that, and he's like, no, like I'm not giving you this chance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cannot give Trap that chance, because you know what's gonna happen. He'll take it and he'll do some, I don't know, do some number crunching.
He'll juggle,
some
man.
math or whatnot.
You called it
He'll
before,
juggle.
right?
He'll juggle it, and as he juggles, it's like taffy. How you pull the sugar and it gets higher and higher. That's what happens when it's the same concept with the Trap defense possibility. Yeah, but it's fine. Chicken Man got us.
Lobby, yep. I love how that lobby link was posted as soon as I tabbed out. And I was like, oh shit.
As we go into Golden Wall, I'm a little bit surprised that Golden Wall is what we're seeing.
Yeah, they didn't veto it.
Yeah, I would have met, like, Purity and Industry, that's an instant veto for one. But, you know, I'm a little surprised we don't see more Simulac run.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, I think
that Zen more than Simulac run today.
Yeah, I do like that these players are more willing to play some of these newer maps. I'm sure RagnaroK would love to do something crazy on this map. We did see him take that gold base against Zest, and I'm sure Trap was watching, so we'll see what happens. We
shall. And speaking of C, what happens here? We have it in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the left-hand side of Golden Wall. LE, here it is. Fighting for his life right now. His tournament life is on the line. He has to win this game, and then the game after this, if he is going to be crowned the champion of ESL Open Cup Asia, the first Jinner player to hold the title, I do believe. But yeah, let's get in on it. I guess it's already been spoiled a little bit. He is representing the hopes of Protoss players, of his teammates that have fallen along the way, and of GGE Mini in 19. Shout out to Gemini. We have, representing Jinner Green Wings as well as Korea, it is Trap.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Wall LE, we have the player who is up 2-1 in this best of 5. He is representing Chivo as well as Korea. It is RagnaroK. Mate, he's up 2-1.
What are we gonna see? Where is this? Yep, he is up 2-1. This could be the final game of the evening. Will it end in a RagnaroK victory or a Trap victory? This is the one game that could potentially decide that. Speaking of deciding, RagnaroK has decided not to go for that net golden base just yet.
Yeah. You know, if you missed it, in his series versus Zest earlier today, RagnaroK did take this as his natural, this gold base, and he was able to utilize it to his advantage. Basically going for a giant like Link Flood, was able to push in, and he almost broke Zest. Zest, you know, he was able to just hold and was able to abuse this position with Archons, but in the end, RagnaroK just had too much of a lead. And yeah, was able to take that game, that series even.
But I do like that he's not going for it this time, and part of me has to think maybe he knows that Trap was watching, but at the same time, part of it, I think, is just the fact that he's played 3 games against Trap so far. He knows what works and what doesn't work. And let me tell you, I don't think an all-in or a Link Flood is going to work against Trap. Not without some heavy modifications, at least.
And who better to modify an all-in than RagnaroK, right? I mean,
Exactly.
I feel like this is his element right now, and especially in a weird map like Golden Wall. You know, we haven't really spoken much about it, but there is like an entire third of the map that's completely cut off to begin with. We do already have Trap actually mining out those minerals in his main.
He is. I think he thinks that this is a safer place to expand to, and it can be. But it does also depend on what your opponent is doing. It does seem like RagnaroK mined out one of the patches over here, but didn't really commit. That's a stupid amount of lings, actually.
That's a lot of lings, man. That's a lot of lings. That's a lot of roaches. They're all coming across. Yeah, yeah, and Trap, he does see this as these adepts do go into the natural, so he does spot the roaches moving out across the map. He knows.
High alert. That it is. A couple of these things are already on the other side of the wall, though.
Oh my god!
Is this a full wall? I mean, is not at least not for lings.
Yeah. Well, it was a wall. There was a stalker there.
Yeah.
But the lings killed it.
That.
Yeah, that's what was crazy. Those two lings were able to do so much, and now he gets in. The shield batteries aren't done yet. The stalker,
they're not.
The adept is in a good position.
Are starting to fall. Actually, the micro from Trap is looking fan-frickin-tastic.
Oh my god.
RagnaroK being a little bit indecisive what he wants to attack, but GG. And RagnaroK will be your ESL Open Cup Asia number 10 champion in such a decisive fashion as well. Remember when I said earlier you don't want to be ling flooding Trap?
You do want to be ling flooding.
Well, to be fair, I did say without some heavy modifications, and that wasn't a full-on ling flood. It was a ling flood supported by roaches.
Yeah, and what's odd is that Trap, he was getting ready for it. You know, he saw the roaches with his adepts on the other side of the map. He was getting ready for it. He was throwing down shield barriers. They were finishing up, but he just didn't have a wall off. His unit was taken out, and he didn't replace it in time.
Exactly, that was so key. Even if you have to bring in a couple of probes, maybe, or you can just fully wall that off.
Whatever you need to do, just plug that wall. Oh god.
But you can't really fault. Yeah, you can't really fault Trap for being a little bit shaky in that position.
Really, just give it to RagnaroK. Like, he was able to do, you know, the impossible with minimal amount of wings.
Absolutely. He didn't even take the gold base.
He didn't even take it. Didn't even think about that. Trap wasn't even worthy of the gold base build. Zest was. Oh my god.
Wow.
GG, well played, RagnaroK. Whew.
Wow.
Oh my god. Yeah, still congratulations to the Trap as well. You know, top two do get something. RagnaroK wins $100 USD, as well as those lovely ESL points, EPT points even. Trap does get a couple as well, but unfortunately no prize money, as this is kind of a winner takes all sort of tournament in terms of prize money, at least.
Exactly. You'd think that would mean that would trigger SOS's instincts, winner takes all instincts, but no, it's got to be at least
100K.
50 million. 100K.
100K.
I don't know why I said 50 million. Like 50,000 maybe.
Yeah, and GG. Again, well played to both these players, and yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. We had an amazing day of matches. You know, if you want to tune into some of the, if you weren't here earlier and you want to watch them, you know, our VODs are available here on Twitch. We will be uploading them to YouTube over the next couple of days. And yeah, that was a sick series. It was a sick night of StarCraft, I should say.
Yep, not sure how else to really put it.
Yeah, and again, shout out to the other community casters. It's not just us, but Chicken Man, who was also casting in English, Renegade X Studios was casting in English, Crank and Maddox, Korean casters, as well as Mage, the Chinese caster. You know, support them however you can, you know, give them a chance. Renegade and Chicken Man, you know, if they're ever casting something, you know, they have their own casting styles, and, you know, it's also worth checking them out, right? Spreading the love.
I agree.
Yeah, Creighton, he's usually also casting this as well. Unfortunately, I believe he is covering another event, or there was like a clash when it came to Alpha X. So I think I think he was busy, but I'm sure that they will return, or he will return for ESL Cup NA, as well as EU, which is later today. So, don't forget to tune into those as well, as Asia is the first cup, like during the week, and then followed by EU in a couple of hours, and then followed by NA. So, if you want some more StarCraft, be sure to tune into that. Check the Team Liquid calendar for like specifics on when it starts.
I agree.
I was like waiting for you to.
No, here's the thing. I saw a lobby link and my instincts took over, and then I didn't realize it was in Crank TV.
God damn, I saw that as well. I saw that lobby link. But yeah, I'm just checking now. ESL Cup EU starts in 4 hours, so if you're free in 4 hours and you want to watch some StarCraft, there will also be that. We won't be covering that, but I'm sure some of these community casters will be. And yeah, now that we're done for the day, Yaku, where can we find more of you?
Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1, Twitter.com @Empora Yakuzaku, !Discord in chat, and you can find me on the CranKy Ducklings Discord server. It's probably the most reliable, whatchamacallit. And yeah, buy my shirts. We're going to find you, Light.
Yeah, if you just follow CranKy Ducklings on Twitter, I mainly cast with CranKy Ducklings or admin or organize events, so that's probably the best way to catch up with me. I do also stream ladder sessions, or I have a Final Fantasy playthrough as well on YouTube, but if you want more StarCraft, be sure to follow CranKy Ducklings on Twitter, as well as on Discord, as we usually try to promote not just our events, but events in general, amateur StarCraft events, or, open cups. We try and promote like participation and signups as best we can. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you for the follows as well. We really appreciate it. There are other ways to support the channel as well. We do have a Patreon, where we're trying to build up our tournament, Olima League style. If you're familiar with Olima League, we also offer replay packs for Patreons, and the Patreon supporters or Patreon goals are to improve the quality of our tournaments, mainly through prize money, and also eventually having a monthly as well. So that's kind of our end goal with that. And yeah, I think that's it for us for today.
Seems like it.
Yeah, if you want to tune into our next broadcast, we'll be casting NA Contender throughout the week. I'll be casting that with Yaku, actually.
Yeah, stay tuned on the Tuesday, 4 p.m. KST?
Yep, 4 p.m.
KST.
Yeah, 4 p.m. KST on Tuesday, as well as, Wednesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Wednesday?
Wait, is it Wednesday and Thursday? Wait, we did Tuesday and Wednesday last week.
We have a calendar.
We have a calendar.
Tuesday and Wednesday. So tune into that if you want to see some NA StarCraft. Otherwise, I think we're done.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bella.